Now, from the news station, this is 7 News Live at 5.
Good evening. We have breaking news to cover this evening live at 5. This is Anderson County, where deputies have responded to a plane crash, which you see on your screen.
Yeah, we're hearing this is right near Omega Farms Lane along Long Road. The sheriff says 6 people were on board this plane. You can see the nose has touched down there into the field. No word yet on injuries. Good to see that no structural damage, at least significant damage, breaking up of the plane there. So we're waiting to hear more about the 6 people on board the plane, but the good news is it doesn't look like too much damage to the plane itself. We hope to get more information about those passengers and the pilot later on in this newscast, as we do send a crew there on the ground to respond to this breaking news tonight. Tonight, we're learning that another teen escaped the White Pine Camp. That's a low-security Department of Juvenile Justice facility in Union County. And this time, the teen was caught right across the street. Yeah, Brianna Smith just back from the scene there. So, Brianna, what's going on?
Well, there's no fence or perimeter at this facility. It's a low-security facility because the teens there are not violent offenders. But after 2 got out, the sheriff says that things need to change. Now, on Sunday, a teen that had arrived on Friday actually escaped and ran across the street there. Neighbors say dozens from inside the facility ran out, tackled the teen, even punching him bloody. Sheriff David Taylor says no one from the organization called him or his office, and they only learned of it after neighbors called 911. Now he wants to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
That is a risk. I don't care how minimal the charge is. If that person don't want to be there, he may go to any measure to leave there. And that's what we're trying to prevent.
And this story isn't over. We wanted to hear from both sides. So coming up at 6 o'clock, we talked with AMI. That's the company that works with DJJ. We're going to tell you actually what they admitted to doing. They say that they need to make some policy changes.
You would just think with all the facilities like this that all would have fences.
You would think that. And they said that this is really encouraging these teens who may just stepped off of the path just a little bit to try and get back on the right road. So that's why they encourage not having fences in these parts. Again, we have 3 other ones in the upstate as well besides this one.
I can't wait to hear more from what the sheriff has to say about this.
You don't want to miss it at 6.
Right, Brianna, thank you.
3 of the 4 people of interest in a Polk County murder have been captured in Florida. Kayla Black, Quinte Edwards, and Kwame Fernandez were all wanted in connection of the death of Dietrich Horn. And it turns out they're all in custody in Gainesville, Florida on unrelated charges. Now Polk County is sending investigators to Florida to talk to them. There's still one suspect seen in a photograph near a gas pump. Police think all 4 of them were inside a car stolen from Greer. Last Thursday, Horn was found dead of gunshot wounds on the side of the road. We're still waiting to learn more about a fatal car crash this afternoon in Greenville. This is Air 7 video from that scene. What we do know is that at least 1 person was killed. According to Highway Patrol, troopers responded to the crash around 3 o'clock. It happened near the intersection of Gear Highway and Persimmon Ridge Road, I should say. Now, so far, no names have been released. We're going to have updates, though, on WSPA.com and tonight at 10 and 11.
Happening right now in Simpsonville, leaders are meeting behind closed doors. They're trying to decide the future of their suspended police chief.
Chief Keith Groundsell's suspension started Friday after accusations from a woman that he filed false reports with the state. Just a few years ago, council fired Groundsell and then rehired him. And now some people are rallying for him to get back to work again.
7 News reporter Addie Hampton, you see her there live outside City Hall, where a lot of folks are anxiously waiting a decision from this council tonight. Addie.
Well, Gordon, whether they are protesters that have been here since early this morning or just concerned citizens, you're right, that room is packed up there with people as they await the question whether or not Chief Keith Groundsell will be fired or not. Now, today I talked to the chief's sister. I also talked to the mayor of Simpsonville. Both are very unhappy about this situation, but for very different reasons.
Why is it that the person that has caused the turmoil is the victim here? That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Simpsonville Mayor Janice Curtis says she arrived to work Monday to find protesters outside her office and a growing online petition calling for her to reinstate suspended police chief Keith Groundsell.
Understand that he is the one responsible for any bad judgments, bad decisions that were being made.
But when asked to clarify what those bad judgments are, Curtis says it's a personnel matter, one that won't be exposed, but could have something to do with an email exchange between the chief and a citizen, a woman who accused the chief of filing false reports against her to SLED. That woman later told 7 News off camera she fears for her family's safety.
If termination is warranted, termination will occur. And if he's done something that drastic to lose his job, then that's on him. It's not on the city.
Others, like Groundsell's sister, aren't so sure about that.
I mean, in my opinion, I believe it's personal attack against my brother.
Heather Groundsell Johnson spent the day rallying support for her brother. She says she's seen this before, the last time he was fired by council in 2012, then rehired by a new council in 2014.
Here we are now with a new mayor whose husband was on the original council that was part of who fired him. In my opinion, I think it's a personal attack against him.
When asked, Mayor Curtis, wife of former Councilman George Curtis, denied any underhanded allegations.
No one has done anything underhanded to this gentleman, and to hear that is just absolute ludicrous. It's just ludicrous.
While Johnson says the situation has been hard on her whole family.
These people think that they're fighting against one man, but it's a whole family.
The City Council has been in closed executive session for more than an hour now. We are here on the ground. We've also got a crew inside the council chambers. Of course, as soon as we learn anything, we will be bringing that to you on air and online at WSPA.com. For now, I'm reporting live in Simpsonville. Addie Hampton, 7 News.
Thank you, Addie. Voters in Greenville County got the opportunity to listen to Republican candidates running for county sheriff. Today, the 5 candidates participated in a debate at the Poinsett Club. Steve Loftus is the incumbent. He's being challenged by Bruce Cannon, Hobart Lewis, Will Lewis, and Sam Manley.
In Spartanburg County, the one candidate who announced a primary challenge to the incumbent Sheriff Chuck Wright has changed his mind and changed parties. Retired Deputy Russell Lynch has filed to run in the Independence Party instead of facing Wright in a primary. Lynch announced his campaign as a Republican in January. He says he wants to run as an independent because it would represent all of the people. When he spoke to 7 News, Lynch said he's still focusing his campaign on recruiting and retaining more deputies at the sheriff's office.
They want to know their value, that they're making a difference, that they're appreciated, and that they're compensated for what they're doing.
A 7 News investigation just last month showed just how serious a statewide shortage of police officers has become at all law enforcement agencies. So we asked Sheriff Wright to talk about Lynch's contention that Spartanburg County isn't doing enough to retain deputies. His spokesperson told us the sheriff would comment next week.
Tonight, crews are searching for 2 missing hikers and their dog in Henderson County. This is Air 7 video of the area at Pisgah National Forest. Officials say Tesla Rackley and Anthony Logan left on a 4 to 5 day hike Wednesday. They were last seen Saturday near Laurel Creek and Squirrel Gap Trailhead. Deputies ask if anyone has seen them or their dog Lucky to contact Henderson County Sheriffs at 828-697-4911. Tomorrow night, a prayer vigil will be held for a boater in Anderson. That's been missing for 3 weeks now. Mitchell Gibson was last seen on Richard B. Russell Lake in Abbeville County. This is Air 7 video of the search in the days after his disappearance. He reported to work on March 13th as a bait fisher, but never reported back. For details on the vigil, check WSPA.com. It's been 1 year since the North Carolina police officer shot and killed an unarmed man. Cell phone video captured Walter Scott running from the officer after he was stopped for a traffic violation. Well, former Officer Michael Slager is facing a murder charge for that shooting now, and the city of North Charleston awarded the Scott family $6.5 million in a wrongful death lawsuit.
Today marks 48 years since the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The civil rights icon was in Memphis, Tennessee at the time, supporting a strike by sanitation workers. He was shot and killed at the Lorraine Motel. Riots erupted in more than 100 cities around the country in the days after his death. A small-time criminal named James Earl Ray pleaded guilty to Dr. King's murder in 1969, though he later recanted his confession.
Well, we are watching the windy conditions outside. Temperature is going to be getting much colder tonight. In fact, freezing warnings for the mountains.
Sure are. It's going to be winter all over again tonight. Here it is, a freeze warning tomorrow morning only up the mountains above 3,500 feet. Temperatures low 30s. You want to bring those plants inside and if not, cover them while they are outside because it is definitely going to be a cold one heading up north. Right now it is quite mild in the 70s to 80s northeast Georgia, mid 70s in the mountains. Very warm, and live Doppler is clear. It's going to stay that way. Here's your pinpoint planner in Woodruff. 75 now, lots of sunshine, but big changes on the way. 63 by 9 and 46 by daybreak tomorrow, and by 4:62 we'll see temperatures get about 10 to 15 degrees colder tomorrow, and then more changes coming our way with rain on Thursday. And your full forecast next.
Well, Jason, I'm sure a lot of people are glad to hear that because I know we spent the weekend planting stuff in the upstate.
And you're going to spend next couple of days covering stuff.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Thank you.
Up next, we'll show you the secret cash stash of the rich and famous. There's an anonymous group that says world leaders are hiding billions of dollars in offshore accounts. We'll bring you the leak dubbed the WikiLeaks of the mega rich.
And hackers are out to get your personal information from your computer, but then they try to get your money too. We'll explain how they can hold your computer for ransom. First, let's take a quick check of traffic before you head out tonight. This is I-85 at I-385 in Greenville County. 7 News Live at 5 continues next.
The Democrats and Republicans are turning their attention to Wisconsin now. Voters going to the polls tomorrow, and their ballots might have a big impact on which candidates eventually win a presidential nomination. The latest CBS News Battleground Tracker poll shows Ted Cruz with a lead over Donald Trump in the Badger State. Donald Trump insists he'll do well in Wisconsin, but says he would do even better if John Kasich would drop out. The Democratic race for delegates is much clearer. Hillary Clinton has a big lead over Bernie Sanders, who's looking for his 4th win in a row tomorrow.
Yes, we are going forward with a political revolution.
Sanders, you see here, has a slim lead in Wisconsin in the CBS News poll, but it is within the poll's margin of error. Clinton has a 10-point lead in New York. In that same Battleground Tracker poll, it has nearly 3 times as many delegates as Wisconsin.
South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham says people in the Middle East should not be alarmed over the idea of Donald Trump as our next president. Graham was in Egypt over the weekend, leading a Republican congressional delegation touring the Middle East. And Graham says regardless of who occupies the Oval Office, we still need Congress to pass laws.
I don't know how this nominating process ends, but here's what I do know. The Congress is going to be around no matter who's president. And we represent, I think, the heart and soul of the Republican Party.
He also said he wants the U.S. to increase its military aid to Egypt, which is battling an insurgency by Islamic State militants.
Voters in parts of Anderson, Abbeville, and Greenwood counties will vote tomorrow. It's a runoff election for the State Senate District 4. Anderson Mail is spotlighting that race today on their front page. The election is between State Representative Mike Gambrell of Honeypath and Williamston Town Councilman Rocky Burgess. Both Republican candidates say voter turnout would be crucial for their win. Scammers are using a normal way the bank would communicate with you to prey on your wallet. We'll tell you how scammers are getting your credit card number.
And tonight, the Tar Heels getting ready to take on Villanova for the NCAA championship. Students ready to celebrate a win. We're going to show you the preparations.
It's warm now, but big time cold is coming your way with freeze warnings up for the mountains and even colder upstate coming up next.